Welcome everyone to week 7 for Intro to Credit Cards. This week, unfortunately, has to be run on Zoom because of the flood in the Haas department. However, next class that we have, so after spring break, those will then hopefully be in person, pending any other difficulties. So, what are we going to talk about this week? Well, so today we're going to talk about Hotel Elite Status Part 2, so continuing off of last time. So first we're going to talk about Hilton Honors and their Elite Status program, and then we're going to talk about World of Hyatt and their Elite Status program. World of Hyatt is personally my favorite. And then, hopefully if we have time, we're going to do a preview of Hotel Elite Status matching. So, with that, let's first talk about Hilton Honors. Hilton Honors, pretty much in summing the entire program, the Aspire card is basically the program. The Aspire card is pretty much holding up the entire program. It's what makes the entire program good. Without the Hilton Aspire card, I would have significantly less interest in the Hilton Honors program. So, what brands do Hilton own? Hilton owns a variety of brands. They do own a few luxury brands, such as Waldorf Astoria, LXR, and Conrad. Most of their other brands, however, are not geared towards luxury. And if you hear that going off in the background, I have an Alexa going off.
Or answer product questions.
So,
To get started, just tell me
Alexa,
what you need.
please stop. Cool. I don't know why that went off. But so Hilton does not have many luxury brands that they own under their portfolio, but they do have a few very good ones. So, what tiers do they have? Well, they have the base member tier, they have silver, which does require a few nights to earn, then gold and diamond. For us, we're only going to care about gold and diamond because silver is as good as entirely useless. And for Hilton particularly, what's pretty cool is that you actually don't have to stay any nights whatsoever to earn even their top level status. And so we're not going to stay any nights because why work for something when you can just get it for free? Or at least heavily subsidized. So, which cards offer Hilton Honors Elite Status? So, there's cards that provide Hilton Gold and Hilton Diamond. Again, there is a card that provides Hilton Silver, but we're not going to care about that because Silver, again, is as good as useless. So, the MX Platinum, I'm sure you're sick of seeing this card in every lecture. The MX Platinum Business card, the Hilton Surpass card, and the Hilton Business card all provide Hilton Honors Gold status. We'll talk about what Gold and Diamond provides in a second. The only card that provides Hilton Diamond status, you might have guessed, is the Hilton Aspire card, the card that I will not stop talking about. And we're not going to stop talking about it today either. So the only card that directly provides Hilton Diamond status is the Hilton Aspire card. A lot of people got very mad when this card came out, particularly people that had worked to earn Hilton Diamond via their normal minimum night requirement. I didn't even mention what the minimum night requirement is, and to be honest, I don't remember it because it really doesn't matter. Why would I stay 20 to 30 to 40 nights in a hotel chain when I could just get the status anyways from a credit card? So people that earned Diamond got very upset because they felt they had provided loyalty to Hilton and did a lot of work for them by giving them, their stays, and then they're just going out and giving Diamond for free to everyone anyways, or at least people that have this card. And people felt kind of cheated, right? Why did I go stay with you when I could have just gotten this card and had Diamond anyways? It would have been a lot easier. So, as a review, we've talked about this before, but let's go over it again just because it's such a good card. We're going to talk about the Hilton Aspire card again. So, it has a $450 annual fee. You earn 14x Hilton points on Hilton spending, so like room rates, stuff like that. You get automatic Hilton Diamond status, which was, as I said, their highest. You get an annual weekend free night certificate. We'll talk more about this a little bit later in the lecture again. And we've already talked about this before. It's uncapped, meaning it can be virtually used at any Hilton location. You get an annual $250 credit toward Hilton Resort spending, and another annual $250 credit toward airline incidental fees. Later in the course, we will show you the trick of using American Express's airline incidental fee credit to actually useful things. It's intended to be used for things such as checked bags, seat selection, stuff like that. We're going to use it closer to airfare and something that's more practically useful. So if you can maximize the 2 credits provided on this card, you already come out $50 profit with the annual fee. Someone in the chat said travel bank. Yes, that is still a trick that hopefully works with Amex airline fee incidentals, where you can actually load up on United Travel Bank credit. Something is beeping very loudly in my background, and I am not sure what that is. So if you can maximize the credit, you come out $50 in profit. And then on top of that, right, you have their highest level status, you get the free weekend night, and you get priority pass and some other benefits. So if you can maximize the credit, extremely, extremely, extremely powerful, profitable card. So any questions actually about the Aspire card before we go on to the benefits of Hilton status? And for those of you, if you're watching online, watching the recording, and you're not familiar with this course, it's a Zoom recording right now. That's why I'm pausing for questions. Okay, so no questions for now. So what are the benefits of Hilton Gold status? So someone asked, is this being recorded on Zoom? It is not being recorded on Zoom. It's being recorded on OBS, but it will be uploaded later. And also, if anyone talks on the Zoom, your microphone will not be picked up on the audio. So feel free to unmute and ask a question. Actually, muting might be disabled, but yeah, no one's audio is going to be recorded, just on my end. So there are only really 3 perks of Hilton Gold that we actually care about. So 1, you get 80% bonus points on your Hilton spending. So meaning a typical Hilton Honors member earns 10 Hilton points per dollar. A Hilton Gold member will earn 18 points per dollar. And this is before using a credit card. So you could be using a debit card to pay for your Hilton stays. And on your Hilton Honors account, you will still be earning 18 points per dollar if you are a Gold member. You get room upgrades based on availability, excluding suites, unfortunately. So the idea, though, still being, if there's a better view room or something like that, they are supposed to upgrade you to that room based on availability. And then, more importantly here, free breakfast. So free breakfast inside the United States has gotten significantly less valuable because it used to be a full breakfast at a restaurant or a continental breakfast or something of that sort. But because of COVID, they have changed it to a dining credit. Now, at first, that sounds very nice, right? It's better to have a credit that I can use to dining. Maybe I could use it towards dinner or lunch instead of just one meal as breakfast. The problem is a lot of hotels have used this as an excuse of completely nerfing the benefit entirely. So there are reports of people getting like $12 breakfast credits, which, can't even cover the cost of one entree. So the value of this inside the United States varies heavily depending on the specific hotel. So a good example, and where I used this credit, was at the Crockford's Hotel at the Resorts World in Vegas. So at that hotel, it's a $50 per night credit. So I was able to get $50 to use on dining at that hotel extra on top of the other benefits I got. So that was very, very useful, very, very good place to use that credit or to have Hilton Gold. So inside the US, value varies heavily depending on the hotel. Outside the US, it is still a standard breakfast. Like, you're still supposed to receive breakfast. So it's better outside the US. And as a side note here, something very, very important to understand about hotel statuses is they are significantly weaker within the United States. They are significantly stronger when you are traveling outside of the United States. The reason for this is that the United States has a very, very competitive, good credit card market. There are very good and popular credit cards within the United States that provide benefits such as Hotel Elite status that do not exist in other markets. So, pretty much in the United States, having the Hilton Aspire card is very easy to get, and it is very easy to then have top-tier Hilton Diamond status. I don't know exactly where I saw this, but it was somewhere on Reddit. The quote goes, "If everyone is a Hotel Elite, then no one is." So many people in the United States have Hilton Diamond status that its value is significantly deteriorated, and the same thing with gold. However, if you were traveling outside of the United States, let's say you're going to Asia, the Hilton Aspire card doesn't exist there. So there is a significant drop-off in Hilton Diamond members there. So it is actually much rarer in Asia to see a Hilton Diamond member. Therefore, you are going to be treated much, much better. And that's where you'll be receiving a lot more of the top-tier upgrades. So something to note about hotel status, right? Better outside the US. Still useful in the US, but much better internationally. Do we have any questions on Hilton Gold status before we move on to the benefits of Hilton Diamond? Okay, so what are the benefits of Hilton Diamond status? This is Hilton's top tier publicly available status. So effectively, it's a much better gold. Yes, someone in the Zoom saying participants can't unmute themselves. Yes, I believe I have that as a setting from previous. Let me see if I can. Oh, now participants can unmute themselves. So if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute and ask. I've now enabled people being able to unmute themselves. Does anyone have a question? Okay, so Hilton Diamond is effectively a much better version of gold. So you get 100% bonus points, so it's a 20% increase over gold, meaning before even using a credit card, just paying for your room on your Hilton account, you were going to earn 20 Hilton points per dollar. Quite a lot. And if you use the Aspire card, which if you remember earns 14 points per dollar, you're going to be earning a combined 34 points per dollar on any Hilton spending with the Aspire card, combined with your Hilton Diamond status. So very, very large sums of Hilton points. Now that sounds amazing, but we'll look in a second. Hilton points aren't too valuable, so that high return isn't as good as you might think. You also get room upgrades based on availability, and this time it is including suites. So again, in the United States, are you going to be upgraded to a suite that often? Not necessarily. In other countries, though, can you get some pretty awesome upgrades to some pretty cool suites? Definitely. It really does depend on the hotel you're staying at and the percentage of Diamond members they have. But kind of the idea to think of it is the rarer they see a Diamond member, the better they're going to treat you when they see that you're a Diamond member. So in other countries, you can expect to be treated much, much better. They'll really roll out the red carpet for you. And so these room upgrades also will be prioritized over gold, right? If they have someone that's Hilton Gold checking in and Hilton Diamond checking in, and they see there's only one room upgrade available, they're definitely going to give it to the Diamond member over the Gold member. Even if, let's say, the Gold member checks in earlier. They're probably going to see that there's a Diamond member checking in later and want to reserve that upgrade for them. You also have all the benefits of Gold. So the same free breakfast and all that good stuff. So do we have any questions on Hilton Diamond before we move on? Okay. So, moving on. Let's look at some Hilton Honors points redemptions. Also, if anyone does try to unmute and talk, I'm not sure if these AirPods are connected properly, so please type in chat as well if I don't hear you. So, Hilton Honors points redemptions. The problem with Hilton Honors is they have a pricing model for their points called dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing means that when I'm trying to redeem points for a hotel, what they do is they say, what is the cash rate of that hotel for that night? And what they will do then is at some ratio say, okay, the higher the cash rate, the higher the points rate. It sounds fair, right? If the cash rate is higher, then so too should the points rate be. But this principle kind of ignores the benefits of points. Points aren't supposed to be an exact tracker of what the cash price is. They're supposed to be ways to get additional value via points. That's the entire purpose of having them. So this pricing model borderline ruins the entire Hilton program because their points cost so much for even a basic hotel room in most cases that it really doesn't make sense to use Hilton points. Now there's an exception to this, and we'll kind of look at this in a second. So this is an example of a typically bad redemption. Let's say I want to stay at this Hilton in Los Angeles. We see that the cash rate is $244 for this night. The points rate for this same night is 60,000 Hilton points. So we take the cash price, divide it by the points cost, and we get a rate of 0.4 cents per point. Pretty typical actually for Hilton points. It's pretty much what a lot of people value them at, 0.4 cents per point. But that's not really very good. Even if I'm earning, let's say, 150,000 Hilton points on a sign-up bonus, I don't want to be getting 0.4 cents per point. That's not really that great. Like, you can do it. It's there. You can do it if you really want, but that's not really getting that much value. We're in this game to get significant outsized value, and this isn't it. One side note on Hilton points is, I forget if I mentioned this on Marriott last week, but similar to Marriott, they have a pay for 4, get 5 nights on points. So if you buy, let's say, a 5-night point stay, you only have to pay for 4 of those nights. So that can be a way to increase the value of your Hilton points. But again, we can see in this case, it's not really that great a value. So let's look at a good redemption. And so before we look at a specifically good redemption, I want to mention a limitation of the dynamic pricing model. So in theory, dynamic pricing should work as follows. If the cash price of a hotel goes up, so too does the points cost. So if the cash price of a hotel is extraordinarily high, so too should the points rate be. And it should be like that for all hotels. The thing is, though, and this is to our benefit, that doesn't apply equally to all properties. Even though it's a dynamic model, where as the cash rate goes up, so does the points rate, there's actually limitations, in that the points rate caps out at a certain point. So if a standard room is available, and even if the cash rate keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, the points rate will stay constant at a certain point. What this means is that Hilton points are really only good for the very, very high end, because we can get that cash rate to go very high to a level that we could never pay at these super, super luxury resorts. But the points cost remains at a reasonable amount that we can actually afford. So as this example, which we've looked at before, this is the Waldorf Astoria in Los Cabos Pedregal. This is a room that costs $1,600 a night. Often these rooms can go much higher. And we can see that the points cost for this night is actually only 120,000 Hilton points. So this is a rate of 1.38 cents per point, which is very good for Hilton points. This 120,000 points, this is what we might say is like a bucket. As long as the standard room is available at this hotel, regardless of what the cash rate goes to, it's going to stay here. Even though this is a dynamic model, where this should theoretically keep climbing and climbing and climbing, in practice it doesn't. Hilton was smart enough to know that if they just allow the points rate to climb infinitely, no one's going to care about their program. They understand that they're going to need some good redemptions for people to want to use Hilton points at all. So, very good redemption for Hilton points here. I've been looking at this hotel. I really want to stay at this hotel, maybe in summer. Now, there's a problem, though. Even let's say I can accrue the necessary Hilton points to stay here and I can fly there and all that, there's a problem we're going to encounter. So, the problem we're going to deal with is award availability. Hilton Honors, at their very good redemptions, suffers from this. So, let's say I got a bunch of Hilton points. Let's all go to the Maldives, right? Let's go live it up. Let's go stay at the Waldorf there. It's like $2,000 a night. I got like a ton of points. Let's go there, right? Let's see the cost. Oh, what's that? 1.2 million Hilton points. I don't have that much. I may have a lot of Hilton points. Maybe I have a few 100,000. Maybe I could afford like 5-6 nights at Pedregal. I can't afford 1.2 million nights for Maldives, regardless of how nice it is. So what's the problem here? Well, let's look back at the previous slide. Notice here we saw that this was 120,000 points for a standard room award. But if we look at this next slide, we see that this is a cost for a premium room award. This is where they get you. At Hilton properties, their standard rooms are what's classified as standard room rewards. That's what we want. Those are the decent points pricing. anything that is not a standard room reward absolutely balloons in the points price. Where even regardless of how much this place costs a night, I don't care. It's going to be stupid to redeem premium room rewards. It is such a significant points increase that it does not make sense to ever redeem Hilton points at the premium room rate. So you need to find a standard room reward availability. And this can be tricky. Particularly at this hotel, the Waldorf, it is almost impossible to find standard room awards because everyone wants to stay here, and the second they open up, people grab them. So you have to be very diligent and very flexible if you would like to stay at these top tier properties. What's interesting is usually about 2 weeks before, like let's say 2 weeks ahead of now, that's when availability starts to open up pretty good. So if I am flexible and I can go to the Maldives, let's say in a week, I might actually be able to find availability at this property. The other two ways, might be if I check significantly in advance when the awards directly open up, or if I frequently check the dates I want to go and hope that someone cancels and availability opens up. So what does this place normally look like if we find a standard room reward? It's 150,000 Hilton points a night. This is Hilton's top tier, most expensive property for a standard room reward. If I am correct, this is the only property priced at 150,000 Hilton points for a standard room. This is pretty much Hilton's flagship #1 property in the world, is why. So the cash rates here are usually about $2,000 a night at least, and it's an extraordinarily luxurious resort in the Maldives. As just a little note here, people do complain because this resort is kind of sterile in that when you're in the Maldives, you kind of want to feel that nature and you want to feel the beautiful island vibes, and this place is a little too frou-frou-y luxury to feel that. So little complaints there, but I promise if you're staying here on points, I don't think you're going to complain that much. I'm sure you would have an amazing time. Before we move on, do we have any questions? Okay, so yeah, standard rooms are the key here. Now, let's talk about the all-powerful, almighty Hilton Free Night Certificate. So, as we've seen with other hotel programs, their free night certificates that you get from credit cards are usually capped at some number of points or some category of a hotel. And the problem with that, I mean, it's fine, right? We can still get very good value out of them, but we're not going to be staying at the very, very, very top-tier luxury hotels. Hilton's different, though. Holders of the Hilton Aspire card earn an uncapped yearly free night. Uncapped in the sense that it works at virtually any Hilton property as long as there's a standard room reward available. So if and only if we can find a standard room. If it's a premium room reward, doesn't work. If it's a standard room reward, all good. And also for Hilton, they do waive resort fees on your free night stays, so you're pretty much paying like nothing. You're not even paying taxes on it. So typically, this was called a weekend free night certificate. So it was restricted to Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now, since the pandemic happened, this has been temporarily working for any day of the week. So I believe that any certificate night issued in 2022 will work for any night of the week. So it could be a weekday still, that's fine. But after that, if you receive one of these nights, they will only work for Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night. So that is something to note. And the key here is that you can actually hold multiple Aspire cards. So having one uncapped free night a year really isn't that good because I could do it if I want to do a one-night stay. You know, let's say I want to go to Beverly Hills at the Waldorf and live it up for a night. That's kind of cool. But I'm not going to be flying to the Maldives on my single night, right? I'm not going to fly a 15-hour flight just to get one free night. But you can hold multiple of these. So the key is that there's actually 3 Hilton personal cards. And you can actually apply for and earn the bonuses on all 3 cards. And after 1 year of holding the 2 lower tier cards, if you choose, you can upgrade to the Aspire card. The key here to remember is that you should get the Aspire card first before upgrading, because American Express has a rule, as we discussed before, where you can only earn the bonus for their card if you have never held that card in your lifetime, or, lifetime, about 7 years. So make sure to get the Aspire card and bonus before upgrading from a lower tier card. So let's say you and a player 2 hold 2 or 3 Aspires each. That's, 4 to 6 uncapped yearly free nights that you can use for some pretty awesome vacations. And so it's definitely a strategy to think about. It's definitely something that I would like to do. I would definitely like to hold 2 to maybe 3 of these cards just to get these free night certificates because they are that powerful. Do we have any questions about Hilton free night certificates before we move on? Okay, so now let's talk about World of Hyatt. World of Hyatt, in my opinion, is the most powerful and interesting hotel elite loyalty program and has the most powerful and best hotel points. So this is definitely something you'll want to pay attention to. What are the brands of World of Hyatt? So Hyatt has some really, really nice brands. And something to remember with Hyatt as well is that their hotels are typically known for being managed better and having higher quality as compared to Hilton and Marriott. So Hyatt hotels are usually considered a step up in just terms of their management level, customer service, and quality. Now, this chart doesn't actually show all of Hyatt's brands. There is a few here not shown, such as Alila Hotels. Alila Hotels is extraordinarily luxurious. It's pretty much on the tier here of Park Hyatt, which is their flagship brand. Alila, there are 3 Alila hotels in the United States. So there's Alila Napa Valley, Alila Ventana Big Sur, and Alila in San Diego. They're all in California, actually. And the rest of the Alila hotels are in Asia, with a lot of them being in Indonesia. So if you're staying with Hyatt, look for Alila, Park Hyatt, Grand Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, and Andaz. Those are probably the most interesting of the Hyatt brands. So Park Hyatt is their flagship, extraordinarily luxurious brand. Same tier as Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, stuff like that. Grand Hyatt and Hyatt Regency are also very nice and considered to be very high in quality. Andaz is also considered a luxury brand, and it's pretty cool because one of the features of that brand is that when you stay there, the minibar in your room is free. Now, it's not fully stocked out like you would maybe see in Las Vegas or something, but the cool thing is you don't have to pay for it. So you're getting at least a few sodas and a few snacks that you don't have to pay for every day when you stay with them. So Hyatt has some very interesting brands. So what are their elite tiers? Hyatt has 3 main elite tiers that you can earn. So they start out with Discoverist, then it goes to Explorist, then Globalist. To earn Discoverist, it typically requires 10 nights, Explorist 30, and Globalist 60. They also have Lifetime Globalist, where you have to earn 1 million base points. What does that mean? Basically, if you spend $200,000 with Hyatt hotels in your lifetime, they will make you a Lifetime Globalist. Very interesting perk to have, and we'll see why we care about Globalist in a second. Now, the thing with Hyatt is it's not as easy to earn their elite tiers as it is with Hilton or Marriott. For a large part, if you're going to want to earn their top tier status like Globalist, you're going to have to actually earn these nights. So, which cards offer Hyatt elite status directly? There is a way that we can actually directly get some level of Hyatt elite status without earning it. So there are 2 cards, and these cards only provide Discoverist. This is the top tier that they will automatically provide. It's the bottom tier that you can actually earn, but this is as high as we're going to get with automatic status from credit cards. So there's both the World of Hyatt personal credit card and the World of Hyatt business credit card. The personal card also provides 5 elite night credits per year. So if I hold this card, I get 5 Hyatt elite night credits, getting me closer to these night requirements. So if I, let's say I hold the card, now I only need 55 nights a year to reach Globalist. So these cards automatically provide us Discoverist status. It doesn't provide us 10 elite night credits, right? Because you need 10 elite night credits to reach Discoverist. It just gives you Discoverist automatically. And now you're 5, if you hold this card, you're now 5 elite nights closer to holding the next tier of status. So these are the 2 ways you can get Discoverist. Now, what are the benefits of Discoverist? there's really only two perks that matter a lot to us. You get a 2 p.m. late checkout subject to availability. Okay, like, usually if you ask the hotel nicely, they'll probably give you at least like a 1 o'clock checkout anyways. So, not really that useful. You also do get a room upgrade subject to availability, but only to the preferred room within your booking type. So if I book a standard room, it would probably only be to, let's say, a corner room, or maybe a room with a slightly better view. Not really a massive difference. Discoverist with Hyatt, to be honest, is pretty useless. The only reason I'm really talking about it is this is as high as you're going to get automatically with credit cards. It's better than nothing for sure. They're going to still, you're going to get, with any elite status, better soft treatment. They're going to want to prioritize you a bit more over someone that doesn't have any elite status. But it's really not that great. It gets much better with Explorist. We're still not that great, but it's better. So Explorist is their mid-tier status. This typically requires 30 elite night credits a year to earn, but there's a way we can kind of get around this in a very interesting high-tier way, or a high big brain move. So what does Explorist provide us? We get a room upgrade subject to availability, but this is much better than Discoverist because we are supposed to get the best room available other than suites or rooms with club lounge access. What is club lounge access? What it is a lot of hotels will have a little lounge that you can go hang out in if you have access, where they will provide free food and drinks. My AirPods have now just died, so I'm going to take them off, and if anyone has any questions, please type it in the chat, because I will not be able to hear you. So, a club lounge access, right? It just provides us with some free food and breakfast, so we can go in there, snack up. It's not like a full meal or anything, but you can definitely, they do serve breakfast, and you can definitely get through like lunch, and if you really want to, even dinner. So club lounge access can be kind of cool, but it's not provided with an Explorist. You just get the best room available, so what that might be, maybe like an oceanfront room or something like that. It's not that the hotels can't give you a suite. It's just, it's not in the program terms. No one's going to complain if you're upgraded to a suite. So the room upgrades here can be much better, right? Better views, stuff like that. Or even just bigger rooms as long as it's not a suite. And then you have all other benefits of Discoverist. So that's really why we care about Explorist, is really just potentially getting a pretty good room upgrade, especially if we care about the view. Now, here's what makes Explorist actually really interesting, at least in my book. There's a theoretical ability that we have once you reach Explorist status to retain this status indefinitely. It's theoretically possible, if no program terms change, to hold this status indefinitely forever. Now, practically, is that going to happen? No. But as of right now, if you are a Discoverist, there's a way to keep this year after year after year until something changes. And we'll talk about that at the end of class. Any questions on those benefits before we move on? And please type in chat because I cannot hear. Okay. So what are the benefits of... What status do I have? Great question. I have Explorer status, and I have Explorer status via the trick that we're going to talk about at the end of class, which is very, very powerful. And I'm very glad I did it. That's actually the entire reason I went to Vegas. If you remember the intro video, I was in Las Vegas. I actually went to Las Vegas just so I could get Explorer status indefinitely. So I have Explorist. I actually haven't had a chance to use it yet. I have a stay in April, beginning of April, at the Hyatt Regency Lake Tahoe, using an Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts rate, where I also got to combine my Explorist benefits, and I'm hoping it'll be fun. Was it worth it to go to Vegas just for the status? Absolutely. And I can't fully talk into it right now because we don't have time, but having doing that status, and I was able to get a bunch of casino statuses doing that, and also indefinite Hyatt Explorist. The reason having casino statuses is so valuable is you can trick people into thinking you're a gambler. And long story short, I might be able to get a quote-unquote free cruise because of this, or at least a heavily discounted cruise. we're talking like a $2,000 to $3,000 cruise for like $500, $600. So we'll talk about that feature, but it was absolutely worth it to go to Vegas just for the status, in my opinion. Got to stay at Crockford's, had a great time, ate a bunch of food. So what are the benefits of Hyatt Globalist? This is really the best of the best. Hyatt Globalist is what is largely considered to be the best publicly available hotel loyalty status in existence. Are there invite-only statuses? Yes, those are probably better. But in terms of publicly available statuses, that you know the exact requirements of what you need to earn, Hyatt Globalist is considered to be the best on the planet. So, you get room upgrades subject to availability, but this time including standard suites. Okay, we've seen this with other programs though, right? We've seen this with Hilton Diamond and with Marriott Titanium and Platinum. You get upgraded subject to availability, but how often do they actually do that? Hyatt actually frequently upgrades Globalist. If you have Globalist status, you are likely going to get upgraded to at least a significantly better room or a suite. Especially internationally, it's almost like a 90% to 95% chance. If you're Globalist, you get frequently upgraded. It's not like other programs where like, oh, maybe if you're in like Asia or something, you'll get upgraded. No, you're frequently going to get upgraded. They treat their Globalists very well in terms of the upgrades. You get free breakfast and club lounge access if it's available. So you can go to the club lounge, eat some free food, you get your free breakfast, all that. That's fun. If there's no club lounge, you also still get standard free breakfast. And depending on the hotels, that can be pretty great. And yeah, this is not a free breakfast in terms of like, oh, $10 of credit. No, it is a real sit-down free breakfast. Now, there are some hotel brands they have specifically where they don't give you this, but that's just because everyone gets free breakfast. So at brands like Hyatt Place, you don't get free breakfast as a Globalist, but that's because everyone gets free breakfast. But this is a better free breakfast benefit than other programs because they treat you well. They give you a real breakfast. You get 4 p.m. late checkout subject to availability. This is good if there's availability. If it's not, then who cares? You get waived resort fees on eligible rates and properties. So let's say you're staying at one of like Hyatt's managed hotels in Hawaii, and they normally, let's say, charge a $30 to $40 resort fee a night. This gets waived. So that's also very nice to not pay resort fees. You never pay resort fees, by the way, with Hyatt on point stays, but even on paid stays now, if you are Globalist, you don't have to pay the resort fees most of the time. You also get free parking on award stays. So if you're staying with points or a free night certificate, you get free parking, which is pretty awesome because that can be, let's say, $20 to $50 a night. So a significant chunk of money that you're saving. You also have a very unique perk called a Guest of Honor, where you can book someone else's room using your points, and they will get temporary Globalist benefits. So let's say I have 30,000 Hyatt points. I book someone a room for that, a friend of mine. When they go to that Hyatt hotel and check in, right, I'm not going, they're going, but they get all of my benefits. They get to have a stay where they get the free breakfast and the potential suite upgrade and all the cool treatment. So it's really fun for them. It's a really cool way to share your benefits with your family members. So Hyatt Globalist is extraordinarily valuable to have. It's not just because of the hard benefits. The hard benefits aren't really that much better than what we have seen with other programs. It's because Hyatt actually honors their soft benefits. If you go to a hotel as a Hyatt Globalist, they're going to make sure they do their best to upgrade you to a very good room. If they have the good suite available, they're probably going to give it to you. It's not like Hilton maybe where they're like, oh, they got a suite available, but like they have 8 million Diamond members staying there anyways and they don't want to give it out. They actually care about their Globalist because it's hard to earn Globalist status. It's not like Hilton where you can just get a credit card. You have to earn 60 Elite Night credits typically. And earning that is not an easy feat. So when you earn that, they want to treat you well. There are other ways to maybe get a status challenge to Globalist. We'll talk about status challenges later, where basically if you stay a fewer number of nights in a shorter period of time, they will give you Globalist. But that's not necessarily any better. The weird thing with Hyatt's program, you actually want to earn the Elite Night credits to get their status. You don't want someone to just give it to you. And there's a reason why. This is because of World of Hyatt's Milestone Rewards program, where other hotels have a similar Other chains have a similar system to this, but Hyatt's is by far the best. So instead of me just, okay, I stay my number of nights and I get my Globalist or whatever, and then I may or may not get upgraded to a suite, even if it's very likely, Hyatt's like, no, we're going to provide you benefits along the way for reaching certain numbers of elite night credits. So this is that chart. If I earn 20 elite night credits, they are going to provide me 2 club lounge access awards. So if I'm staying at a hotel with a club lounge, and I'm not Globalist yet, so I don't get that for free, I can use a club lounge access award on stays up to 7 nights, and where me and one other guest will have access to the club lounge. So I will use that. I will be able to, get some free breakfast and not have to pay for snacks in the day, and, maybe even use it to fill up on dinner. When you reach 30 elite night credits, you get 2 more club lounge access awards and a category 1 to 4 free night award. This is the same type of free night award that you get with the World of Hyatt credit card, worth about $200 to $250. Obviously, it can be more depending on how you use it. At 40 nights, it's not very good. You get 5,000 points or a gift card or some point savings. Let's just call it 5,000 points. Not that great. It gets really good at 50 and 60 nights, though. At 50 nights, you get 2 suite upgrade awards, and at 60 nights, you also get 2 suite upgrade awards, a category 1 to 7 free night award. Remember that most Hyatt top tier properties cap out at Cat 7, so you can pretty much stay at almost any top tier Hyatt hotel, or, semi top tier, basically almost there. And then you also get access to My Hyatt Concierge. So basically, it's kind of you get better assistance, right? When you're calling in, you get better assistance. It's a better way to contact them. They'll help you get things sorted out if you're having any trouble. It's a good service. But what are these suite upgrade awards? So with Globalist, right, you get upgraded to a suite subject to availability at check-in. So let's say I book a hotel a year out, and there's like 8 million suites available, but by the time I check in, they're all booked. I don't get one. Let's say I don't want that. Let's say I'm like, you know what, I want a suite now, and I don't want to pay for it. I want you to promise me I'm getting that suite. Suite upgrade awards let you, per suite upgrade award, you can apply it to a booking up to 7 nights, and at the time of using the upgrade award, which you can do right after booking, you can select a standard suite on Hyatt site at that hotel that's currently available, and you will book into that suite. So I can pay with points to book a standard room, then immediately after apply a suite upgrade award, which guarantees me getting that suite as long as it's eligible. And you'll know if it's eligible before using it, of course, or before even making the booking. So I guarantee myself into a suite for a booking up to 7 nights. And that's only with 1 suite upgrade award. So it's a really, really awesome perk to have, and it's kind of one of a lot of Globalists' favorite perk. Because being able to guarantee yourself that suite right when you make the booking is really good. You're not playing the upgrade lottery, even if they're very good with upgrading people. Who wants to risk it, right? Guarantee yourself that suite is really awesome. So let's look, because we're running a little low on time here. Let's look at the standard room awards points per night cost for World of Hyatt. We've looked at this before, but basically it ranges from category 1 to category 8. So a standard night at a category 8 being 40,000 Hyatt points and a category 1 being 5,000 Hyatt points. Remember that you can transfer Chase points to Hyatt points at a rate of 1 to 1. So if you have 100,000 Chase points, you can then have 100,000 Hyatt points if you so choose. So we've looked at this example before, but the Hyatt Regency in Bali, for example, is now going to become a category 1 in about a week. It will cost only 5,000 Hyatt points a night for a standard night. It's around $125 a night. Cents per point, 2.5 cents per point. Very good redemption value. You get 100,000 Chase point bonus. You can now stay 20 nights here at this hotel if you so choose. At the extreme mega high end, we have a Lila Ventana Big Sur. I stayed here in December. I have 3 nights booked after finals. Very excited. I booked this before it's going up to a category 8, and I booked it at a much cheaper price than what it is now in terms of points. Points per cost per night is 40,000. Cash price per night is $2,000 around. Cents per point value, 5 cents per point. Extremely good redemption. One of the best points redemptions on planet Earth. One of the most luxurious hotels in North America. If you have the chance to book this place right now, if you have Hyatt points laying around, or even Chase points that you can transfer to Hyatt, and you want to stay here, book this before March 22nd, because if you do so, it will only cost you 30,000 points instead of 40,000 points. But even at 40,000 points, it's a steal. Great hotel. So, sorry I'm rushing here, but I just want to get through everything. So, Hyatt also lets you book suites at a very good rate. So, a standard suite, for example, is only 8,000 points per night at a Cat 1. So, remember, a Cat 1 is 5,000 points for a standard room, 8,000 points for a standard suite, and it's 10,000 points for a premium suite. So, standard suites, or like premium suites, are just kind of a step above standard suites. So, a premium suite is pretty much double the price of the standard room at a Cat 1. That's actually very good, considering that premium suites might often be significantly above double the price in cash of a standard room. Let's look at some examples concretely. Let's look at the Hyatt Regency in Bali again. The Regency suite here goes for around $450 a night. You also get club lounge access just for booking the suite. Yes, yum, right? Free food. Sounds awesome. So it's a really nice big room. It's like 800 square feet. Really good suite. It's a Cat 1 standard suite. Only 8,000 points a night. That's 5.6 cents per point. And when you book with a suite using points, right, you're guaranteed that suite. You're not like hoping to get upgraded. You can be upgraded beyond this. They can upgrade you to an even better suite if they choose. But you're guaranteeing yourself the suite. Really great redemption. 8,000 points per night for this room is an absolute steal. So with that, let's look at some old examples that no longer can work anymore, but these did work even just a few months ago. They kind of worked. So this is why it's important to stay with the news. You could book in the Thompson, which is a very nice hotel in Cabo. You could book their penthouse villa. This is what it looks like. You have an outdoor deck. This is just what the outdoor deck looks like. It's 3,000 square feet, has an outdoor heated tub. It has a fire pit, has a full kitchen, living room. It's 3 bedrooms and it fits 6 guests. The cash price, the cash price is $3,200 a night. It's a Cat 6 premium suite, so it's 50,000 Hyatt points a night, but that's still 6.4 cents per point. If you and, let's say, 5 other people split this, you're getting this place for less than 10,000 points a night per person. Unfortunately, you can no longer book this, it seems, but this used to be a really cool redemption. Absolutely amazing hotel. Giant villa in Cabo, like on the rooftop. Looks amazing. Another one is the Park Hyatt Zanzibar Royal Residence. This is a 400 square meter, 3-bedroom suite. It has a private elevator, a fully equipped kitchen, a 12-seat dining room. This is what the dining room looks like. It's 4,300 square feet, 3 bedrooms, and fits 7 guests. $2,600 a night, and that's honestly kind of on the low end for this place. It's a Category 4 premium suite, 30,000 points a night. Cash price, $2,600, a cent per point value of 8.6. Really, really good. Unfortunately, we can't book this anymore. I wish we could. I wish it was still open. Theoretically, could they bring it back? Yes, they could. Are they? Probably not. But that's what makes it important to stay with the news, stay with what the good redemptions are. Because when something like this maybe pops up, maybe there's another really cool premium suite that you're able to book with points, you're going to want to hear about it before it's gone. So as our final note here, I know we're at time, so if you have to go, that's fine, but I would recommend sticking around here because this is a really, really cool topic right here. This is a preview of what the status matching merry-go-round is. So, let's say in January of 2022, I hold World of Hyatt Explorer status. This expires the next February. So, or let's say, right, I've earned it before, and now it's going to expire this February. MGM, if you hold Hyatt Explorist, they will give you MGM Gold status. That expires the end of January the next year. So this will expire January 2023. Now, let's say it's now March of 2022. My Hyatt Explorer status is gone because it expired in February. It's now March. But I still hold MGM Gold. MGM Gold doesn't expire till January 2023. So I can match my MGM Gold back to my Hyatt Explorist after my Explorist expires. Because I hold MGM Gold, they will match reciprocally between each other. So if you have MGM Gold, Hyatt will give you their Explorist. Does that card have sushi on it? Yes, it does. So I can now match my MGM Gold back to my Explorist, and now my Explorist doesn't expire till February 2023. I can do this indefinitely. Until they change the terms of this program, I can keep matching back and forth, forever. And that's what makes it so powerful. That's why I went to Vegas. I went to Vegas to get MGM Gold status. Once I had my gold status, I match it to Explorist. I'm now in what's called the merry-go-round. You just go around and around and around and around, and I hold these statuses indefinitely. So next time, the next 2 classes will be guest speaker lectures. Definitely show up because both of our speakers are super, super interesting, and I think you will really want to hear from them. The location will probably be different than our normal classroom. Stay tuned on Discord to hear where that's going to be. I don't know exactly yet. We're in the process of reserving a nice room, but definitely show up to those. I think you're really going to want to meet both of our guest speakers. And so action items, just enjoy spring break, have fun, relax, take a break,